I look at the world my generation's been given, and I look at all of the social disruption and desperation and global decimation and starvation and political corruption and disinformation. I look at the gradual evaporation of collective passion to be better, to do better, to want better for both ourselves and the world. And I make jokes about it being the end of the world, but it really feels like it's the end of the world, and it terrifies me that this world could be all that we leave behind. I am grateful.
White, the color of purity. But people who possess that color of skin get immunity. Ignorant to the world around them. Skipping through life with a free pass. But when black decides to speak up, law enforcement responds with tear gas. Racism, an institutionalized ideology, the idea of one race being more important than the other. A sudden urge.
It's time for us as the people to start making some changes. Let's change the way we eat, let's change the way we live, let's change the way we treat each other. We see the old way wasn't working, so it's on us to do what we gotta do to survive. And still I see no changes. We're chained to this chain of taste to chain. We'll ring and ring, but it pours not a thing but the blood and pain of our melanin dripping. As we watch our heritage and struggle go down the drain.
I'm a young black girl chilling in the back seat of a car with my homies. 3 seconds gone by, 3 pops in my chest, all for a little disagreement in the moment that I might have got heated and pissed off, and you dropped me off, and I watched as the wheels of your car pulled off, and I sat there, choking, blood filled my lungs. But please, please, sir, I can't breathe.
Breath, like King David in the Bible, who stated the truthless word, God allowed him to catch his breath. Even while walking furiously and faithfully in the valley in the shadow of horrific death. At least he had breath. Yet what do we have left? The pleading for...
I met God and my mother in the dirt. I returned to the opera of creation and murdered every step symphony. Now I can hear the right notes. My metronome umbilical cord anchored in dust keeps the right tempo.
On the day that my life doesn't matter, shortly after police have stopped my heart in front of the people it beats for, forcing me from man to martyr to movement to memory, forcing my mother to stitch back together the pieces of her smile, your most highly touted of news outlets, carrying only the most pertinent of information, will be sure to inform you that I was no saint. They'll call me non-compliant.
I love my city. I'm sure my city loves me. From the year 03, a year I could vividly remember. The love and hate surrounded me, saved me, but also drowned me.
I remember the first time I learned black woman was God. It was during one of my high school days filled with earthquakes penetrating the hallway floors, murderous hours of precision training, and back-to-back shows with the Men of Distinction step team. We were unbeatable, undeniable, and felt no one could hold a candle to our boots until the day God no longer tolerated disrespect. See, often
Expectations. The standard is set. You see the negativity preached to you for years through magazines, your peers, and the internet. We let it sit in our souls till it manifests. Suddenly we start to truly believe we're not as good as the rest. Unconsciously we see black in success not belonging in the same sentence, which is why when we see it in real life we're all shocked by its presence.
He cried out in pain when the first nail was driven through his palm. He felt his life seeping away slowly as the thought of a nail appearing on the other side of his palm sank deep into his mind. He definitely felt like getting off that cross, but one thing kept him on it: you. With the overwhelming sorrow engulfing him, the Word made flesh cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" His fortress is
Empty as society rips me away piece by piece as I lose myself day by day. I think it's time for a new lease. There's a leak in this building, but not because it's old, because it's tired. Tired of appeasing society, tired of not loving its foundation, the soil beneath it, no matter.
But when's the last time you saw a white man shot by the police? Or a white man stopped for no reason on the side of the street? How can you not see the hypocrisy? How can you not see that black folks continue to be America's biggest mockery? They stare in my eyes and try to intimidate me, and look for a reason to try to incriminate me.
I ate it left me starving. Inhaled the toxic smog like it was oxygen and became surprised when I wheezed. My own hands molded and prodded my soul for relatability. I picked up scabs on the verge of healing till they bled and found guilty satisfaction.
The system failed us from the start. But how can everyone share love when there's hate bundled in our heart? They scream, all lives matter. But hold on, just wait. How are we all full at the table if only one had a plate?
When I wake up the next morning, I'll be frantically searching for my phone, looking for that good morning text like it's the only thing keeping me alive. You won't be there. This will set off a chain reaction, first starting with my stomach. My stomach will create an excruciating pain as my body tries to regurgitate the pride I swallowed for you. My heart will pound against its ribs, beating the same melody as your favorite song. My lungs will try its best to exhale every memory we had together, and I will sit there in a trance.
Where the mind is without fear, and the head is held high, where the knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls.
She claws, she nails, she fights, she strives. She travels all time in a guise, chastised woman. Baptized in waters of the tears she's cried. Submerged in suffering and left to die. She hangs from your cross, her body crucified, buried beneath shame, yet rises to redeem mankind, woman.
Yeah, bars like rhyming is the fighting me. Devil try to lie to me. Dances in my brain, click boom, that's the bottom me. Poetry is pottery, my homies on the side of me. Saving lives, being kings, loving all the God in me. Tell them I found the Lord in this microphone and I love them. Tell them I love them fiercely. Tell them that every time I open my voice box, I reveal the truth. Tell them that I was a monument. Tell them that I'm in scripture. Tell them I moved mountains. Tell them that I talk to God. Tell them before I'm 10 feet beneath the sword, before the maggots hug up my flesh into a shivering carcass, you tell them that Joseph Fannell was human.